One day I stopped explaining myself. For years I believed explaining my intentions would make people understand me. I thought if I just spoke clearly enough, people would respect my decisions. But the opposite happened. The more I explained, the more people questioned me. The more I justified my actions, the more they challenged them. And slowly I realized something uncomfortable. Explaining too much makes people feel like they have authority over you. Because when you constantly defend your decisions, it sends a quiet signal. It tells people you are seeking approval. And the human mind can feel that instantly. Psychology calls this the perception of insecurity. When someone over-explains their behavior, the brain interprets it as doubt. And when people sense doubt, they lose respect. Think about the most confident person you know. They rarely explain themselves. They make decisions calmly. They speak less, and they move on. That's not arrogance, that's psychological power. The first lesson is simple. The more you explain, the more people feel invited to judge you. When you justify everything, you unconsciously give others permission to question your choices. And once people feel that power, they will use it. The second lesson is even deeper. Over-explaining destroys mystery, and mystery is one of the strongest psychological forces in human interaction. When people don't fully understand you, their mind becomes curious. They observe you more carefully. They try to interpret your actions. But when you explain everything, you remove that mystery. You become predictable, and predictable people rarely command respect. The third lesson is about emotional control. People often explain themselves because they feel pressure. Pressure to be liked, pressure to be accepted, pressure to avoid conflict. But the moment you stop reacting to that pressure, something powerful happens. You take control of the psychological frame. Let me give you a simple example. Before, you might write a long message explaining every detail, paragraph after paragraph, trying to prove that you are right. But now, imagine a different response. You simply say, "This is the decision," and then you move on. No defense, no explanation, just calm certainty. Suddenly, the dynamic changes. People stop arguing because there is nothing emotional to attack. This idea has existed for thousands of years. Stoic philosophers understood it deeply. They believed that a person who constantly defends himself is not free because his peace depends on the opinions of others. But a Stoic person moves differently. He understands that not everyone needs to understand him. He does not chase approval. He focuses on his actions, not on convincing others. There was a moment in my life when I tested this idea. Someone questioned a decision I made. Normally, I would explain everything, every reason, every detail, every justification. But that day, I didn't. I simply listened. I stayed calm, and I said only one sentence. "This is what I decided." And then I said nothing more. Something strange happened. The conversation ended almost immediately. Not because they suddenly agreed, but because there was no insecurity to attack. That day I realized something powerful. People don't respect endless explanations. They respect calm certainty. Silence is often stronger than the most perfect argument, because silence shows confidence. Silence shows emotional control, and silence forces people to deal with their own thoughts instead of your explanations. This doesn't mean you should never communicate. Communication is important, but there is a difference between clarity and over-explaining. Clear people speak once. Insecure people repeat themselves. Powerful people say what needs to be said, and then they move forward. So here is the practical advice. Next time someone questions your decision, pause. Don't rush to defend yourself. Don't rush to prove your worth. Instead, respond with calm simplicity. Say what needs to be said and leave space. Let silence do its work, because the day you stop explaining yourself is the day people start taking your words seriously. Your power grows the moment you stop chasing validation, and your silence becomes louder than any explanation you could ever give. If you want to master psychology, power, and stoic discipline, subscribe to the channel.